with Cece and Joanne.
Hello, welcome to LinktoEXPERT Business Showcase. I am Cece Shatz. I'm the doyenne of relationship building. I am one of your hosts here today. You're on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network on the new streaming network, and we are going bold here today. I have my good friend here with me, Joanne.
Joanne Weiland, Weiland When You Can Fly, the founder of LinktoEXPERT, the collaborative cloud community where you can find an expert, check out their credentials, and hire them in minutes.
Absolutely. And we are so pleased to have you here with us. We've got an exciting show here today. Those of you that go tune into the LinktoEXPERTs, we want to thank you so much for joining us. But our show here today, we're going to be talking about the Blue Ocean Authority with TAMI. Let's bring her right up. Joanne, you want to introduce her?
Hi, Tammy. Thanks for joining us today for the Business Showcase. We're so excited. She's been a member of LinktoEXPERT for many, many years and a great contributor. And we want to share many of her secrets, insights that she has been doing most of her life because of the fact that her mother taught her that, how to be a better interviewer. And she is incredible. So Tammy, welcome to the Business Showcase.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad to be here.
It is great. So we're going to talk about Blue Ocean Authority, which is an author publishing system, but that's not all. So tell us a little bit about how you got into the business and tell us about the Blue Ocean Authority.
Whoa. So how I got into the business. It's funny because when I was growing up, I actually was a Girl Scout. And let's say third grade, I wrote the Girl Scout News. So I got the journalism bug very early on. And over the years, I wrote for the school newspaper. I went to college and I actually thought I was going to go into advertising because I even back then I knew advertising was about money. But of course, I did journalism, which isn't about money at all. But over the years, I actually ended up getting my degree in mass communications, and I became a mid-level newspaper editor locally in Florida for a family-owned newspaper. And in the late 2000s, in the early 2000s, I actually worked on my master's degree, and with that, I could teach at University of South Florida, and I started teaching mass comm classes, and I actually taught there for about 10 years, as well as working full-time in newspapers, and I did PR work for people, and I even was a news director for a local TV station in Sarasota. And during that time, I actually discovered social media. By then, mid 2000s, 2005, I was teaching and I saw people playing on Facebook, and I needed to figure out, well, what was this? And then YouTube came along, and I actually ended up leaving teaching and going full-time, working with people, helping them with their social media, with videos, and that expanded into podcasting, writing books, publishing books, and marketing. And with all of that, I've really settled into what is Blue Ocean Authority, which is helping people become the only choice in the sea of all the possibilities. And of course, Blue Ocean Authority is based on the Blue Ocean strategy concept that you want to be in a blue ocean, not a red ocean, which means you are the choice. And with what I help people do, there's a lot of organic marketing. I help them write their books. I help them with their social media platforms, press, media training, be on the radio, be on TV, be on podcasts, all to help them have more impact, influence, and income. So it's been a journey.
Could you like just give a brief description of blue ocean versus red ocean? I believe that's what it is because I've taken a course on it one time that you probably recommend.
The red ocean in let's say it's economics, it's an economic concept. What a red ocean is, it's the overcrowded, everybody's doing the same thing. You're not standing out. You're just let's say a commodity. You do not want to be a commodity. In a blue ocean, you become the one. You are seen as the authority, the celebrity, the credible person. That's in my concept of authority. In the strategy, obviously, you're in a marketplace where you are seen as the one to work with because of your different. So you might look at Elon Musk and his Tesla. That would probably be a blue ocean type business, or his SpaceX, always being Amazon. As time goes on, obviously, more and more people, learn the concepts. But right now, as far as in marketing or where we're at in this day and age, blue ocean authority would mean that you're on the cutting edge. Maybe you have a book, maybe you have a podcast, maybe you have your own podcast TV show. Like you guys are blue ocean. What you're doing, your LinktoEXPERT is an example of being in a blue ocean because you're doing something that is unique and wanted and needed.
Well, and you are too, because I find a lot of experts that are in marketing focus on one thing. Even when it comes to social media, I find they're an expert in like Facebook or an expert in LinkedIn. They're not even crossing the social media different options. Where Tammy, that's what I always admired about you, and using your phrase, the blue ocean authority, you do that because you not only help them do one thing, but you help them repurpose and take a lot of the stuff that you've already helped them get into to keep it going and keep them consistently and frequently staying in front of people. So that's what I would love you to talk about today, because I think a lot of people do think, I think you call it once and done, and they just think they sent out a press release, 6 years ago and everybody's going to remember.
Well, again, what makes me personally stand out from, let's say, 99% of all the other people out there who may do publicity services or public relations is the fact that I actually have an educational foundation in this, where I go, journalism, mass communications, marketing, advertising, the educational foundations. And then I have the real life expertise dating back, again, dating myself, but back in the day, it was newspapers, magazines, television, radio, and now it's social media, which has YouTube videos, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. You have all of the different forms. And like I like to say, it's a new media mash, where you just mash it all together. You take the best of what they call old school, the best of the new, and you mash it together to create this new media mash so that you can create this blue ocean authority. And I think it's really important because, again, you said it, most people, they have the FOMO, fear of missing out, but so they're always next. But the truth is, everybody needs to have a plan, a strategic plan, and then all the tools and tactics. And that's where I come in, because I look at it from, the 30,000 foot view, but it's like, that's great. but then we have to come down to where are you? Who are you? What are your ultimate goals? Because some people have a product to sell. Some people want to be a speaker on a stage. Some people want to be an entertainer with you know, but everybody wants to have influence, impact, and income. And the income is where most of us fail because we don't know how. Like with podcasting, most people, they're trying to monetize it in the old school fashion, which old school monetization would be you get sponsors, you sell ads, you do different things like that. Well, new school might be maybe you have a pay to play model where you want to be on my show. I've got this big audience. It'll be X. The services involved. Maybe you have a podcast and you turn your podcast episodes into books. Well, you could do the interviews at no charge, but let's say you want to leverage that. Okay, there is a fee to that because it does cost money to create all of this stuff. And that's where a lot of the people who do podcast guesting, I think they make a big mistake because they don't realize that when they're on a podcast, for example, the podcast has an audience and you're coming to their audience to provide high quality information. So your job as a guest would be to share the podcast, to give high quality information, and to also share it and leverage it in any way. And if your podcast host, like you said, that you have press services, it would be smart for your guests to do your press services if they are not going to do it themselves, so that it can help them grow that online footprint. And I think to gain blue ocean authority, you'll know you've achieved it when you get people saying to you, oh my goodness, I see you everywhere. I see you on my social media. Oh my goodness, I saw you were on TV. Oh, you have a book. Oh my goodness, your online footprint. When I look you up, you are on different podcasts. You have books. Your website is high ranking. Oh, look at your LinkedIn. Look at your LinktoEXPERT. Look at your blogs. You know, when do you ever sleep? You know, because that's when you know that you've achieved this authority and that credibility. And again, the know, like, trust factor, you know, that people talk about, but that it really is true. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So your job is to leverage everything you've got so people can make that decision that you are the one, you are the only choice, you are in that blue ocean authority.
Right, right. It's funny because when you said that, like people say you're everywhere. I get it all the time. It's like, oh, I know you. You're everywhere. It's like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, but it's so true, and I know that Joanne and we get it all the time. But it
And
is.
I've asked you when I first met you, do you ever sleep?
Yeah, I know.
And Tammy, I ask you that all the time too, over the years,
I
because
know.
you both are like you said, you're everywhere. So that's
Yeah,
really cool.
definitely. But it's true. And I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to get out there. And so many people think they just need to be on one platform or they think a niche, they want to be on one thing, but they really truly need to be everywhere. They need to get out everywhere. And they need someone like you that's going to help them, Tammy, to be able to bring it out. If they don't know how to do it themselves, then they definitely need to do it. Or the other thing is it does cost money to do these things. And so, like our network, we try to make it economical for people. We have different services and different things that we offer. But, you've got to start looking at that. You can't be a one man show. A kid's got to be, the lone wolf. You definitely have to do other things in order to get it out there if you want to make money on it. Or if you just do it for a hobby, yeah, and then so be it, you know, that type of thing. So is it a hobby or is it a business? You have to ask yourself.
Exactly. And if you think about it, people need to look at who are they, but where are your clients? Where is your audience hanging out?
Mm-hmm.
And so sure, maybe your audience isn't on Snapchat. So you don't need to do every
Right.
single social media platform out there, but you should look at, okay, I'm working with business people, then probably LinkedIn is a good place to be. Or if you're working with baby boomer type people, a lot of times they're on Facebook. If you're trying to go with younger people, you have to look, well, where are they? Maybe they're not on Facebook, but they're on Instagram. And just
Mhm.
to let you know, Instagram and Facebook are sisters, or they're both owned by what is now called whatever they changed the name to for
It
that.
wasn't
But
meta something.
yeah, Meta. It's funny because the logo, the infinity, one of them has infinity, and I had that logo way before they did. I just thought that was funny because the infinity sign is a
Right.
very good example of Blue Ocean Authority too, because everything we do, the repurposing, the full just keeping it going infinitely, it is
Yeah.
important. And I want to, again, digital gold. There's some things that when I talk to someone, I normally, I want to know, what do they already have? I
Mm-hmm.
want to know, what are their goals? And if they have a goal, like I want to speak on the stage. Everybody wants to be a paid speaker. They think that's the way to do it. But the reality is you may not ever be paid in the sense of somebody's going to give you that $10,000, $100,000 check to go do a
Mm-hmm.
keynote. There are those opportunities, but that's a specific niche of
Right.
speaking. And maybe you're going to be on a stage where you're able to sell yourself, or your products. That's a different way to be a paid speaker, is to be able to get up on the stage and actually sell something. I've watched different speakers use different techniques, and they'll literally get the stampede to the back of the room. And
Yes,
I
I've seen.
find it really interesting, the different techniques and methods. But overall, just as let's just say that you're an ordinary person, maybe you're a doctor, a professional, maybe you have a brick and mortar, you can use all of the same techniques and attract people to whatever it is that you have using a book. For example, the giveaway that I have is about how to get yourself booked on TV. Just being on TV, you can accelerate your position in the eyes of the world with one TV appearance. Even podcast interviews. If you tell the world, hey, I was interviewed about my expertise, people go,
Mhm.
wow, someone else, third person credibility, the host or the producer of this TV show or podcast thought that you were worthy to give you some time on their show. So that's credibility, third person credibility. Being written about in the local newspaper, a business story. When I was a newspaper editor, people could buy advertising, but the most valuable thing they could ever get was a business story written by the business department about the fact that maybe they opened their new store. They would get more business from that editorial content than they ever would from the paid advertising. And that's all because they think that media publishers have some magical power, that what is written in the newspaper must be true. And at least if it's in the newspaper, on the radio, or in an interview, they must be credible. So therefore, at least you'll get maybe a chance to share, that information. But again, when I talk to people, I'm not trying, we've all done the thing where they give you the discovery call, okay? The 15-minute discovery. Well, when I talk to people, I really am trying to figure out, well, how can I help you? I'm not going to turn around and sell you something. And that's the big fear people have, is that you're going to turn this discovery call into a sales call where they're going to feel pressured. And really, for me, because everything I do really is custom, I need to talk to you because I need to know what that bottom line goal is. And maybe I can't help you if you have a goal that isn't realistic for the type of work I do. Maybe you should just do straight paid advertising. Some people think that they can only do organic or non-paid. That will get you started and it'll get you rolling. But at some point, you will have to, bite the bullet and put some money into your marketing, because then it'll open the door to more people. Because, for example, on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, think about all of the demographic information they have about every single person, and you literally can go cherry pick your potential clients in your advertising campaigns. And Amazon is another good place. If you have that book, you can have an author central page and have a book page. There's a lot that Amazon can do to help you. And think about all the millions of people who shop on Amazon every day. A lot of people never think about that Amazon might be the ideal place for them to create their blue ocean and that combination.
Yeah, great information. Great information. We're going to have to take a quick break, though. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit further about all of this: publishing, promoting, being, impactful and influence. And of course, we want to make money, right? We want to make some income as we continue on with our business. So you guys are listening to Link to Expert Business Showcase. I am Cece Shatz. I have my good friend Joanne here with me. We're talking about Blue Ocean Authority with Tamara Patzer, and we want to share with you her free gift because it's unbelievable. We're having a free flip book. It's Be On TV. I'm reading it myself, and I'm blown away because the fact that she's giving this away for free and she's not charging. So we are so lucky to get it. It's going to be in our show notes, so you can just click on it and get it. But those of you that are listening, write it down. It's mybook.link, LINK, /flipbook, FLIPBOOK, /60B4, DL =1. So you got to write it down, or go to our show notes and get the link so that you can get it. Or you can call Tammy herself. So you can email her, and her first name is TAMARA. Her last name is PATZER @gmail.com. And of course, check out our website because always great information is there. And it's Tammy, TAMIPATZER.com. So make sure that you do that. We'll be right back. We hope you're enjoying the show. We love you, and we enjoy being with you. So you are on Link to Expert Business Showcase on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, news streaming network.com, home of the Going Bold. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
We want to thank you for listening to us. This is Link to Expert Business Showcase. I am Cece Shatz, one of your hosts. I have my good friend here, Joanne, with me. We're on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and this is the home of the Going Bold and the news streaming network.com. So we are talking with our wonderful guests here today, and we're talking about Blue Ocean Authority with Tamara Patzer. It's Patzer. We want to make sure that you guys check out her website. You just go to Tammy, Tami Patzer, Patzer.com, and check it out. All the information there. She's given us a free gift, Be on TV flip book, and so you want to make sure that you go on the the show notes. There's a link there, but you can go to mybook.link/flipbook/60B4 DL=1. We're sorry that these links are a little bit weird, but that's the way it rolls sometimes. So we just have to roll with the punches. We have had so much great information at the beginning of the show. So if you guys missed it, you must go back and listen to it again. So a wealth of information. I think one thing I can do as a takeaway is that if you're doing something like podcasting or you're advertising or whatever, know what you're doing it for, right? What is your driving mechanism that you are out there? Because it's not going to get you anywhere if you don't know where you want to end up, right? And so, Tammy, thank you so much for being with us here today and all the great information that you're sharing.
You're welcome.
It is so
What
nice
else would
having
you like to know?
Pardon?
I said, what else would you like to know?
Well, do you have any other questions, Joanne?
Yes, I was wondering, like, when you do what we were just talking to before the break about the discovery call, and to put people at ease, I feel like if they do know people like Tammy that really has helped other people, which you can see all her testimonials and stuff as an example, I feel like they should be calmer about it versus thinking she's just trying to sell them something. Because what really I find happens as a marketer myself, people do think that sometimes, but it is like the only way you're really going to ever grow. And like you always say about the having your influence out there, making an impact and even making an income, because I really feel like it only costs a little more to go first class. So I think a lot of the things that Tammy talks about and does, she can take what you already have done and turn it into something looking like it's in first class. Because when you look, like she was talking earlier in the show again about the Red Ocean Authority, when you're just another Me Too, do you want to keep doing that and let's face it, most of the time if you're another Me Too, nobody's going to ever think of paying you what you're worth, because of the fact that they think they can go anywhere, and many times in this day and age they can go somewhere and get that same kind of thing that if you're just at that level for free. And so I really feel like people don't realize that, but sometimes you do have to spend money to make money, and you do have to repurpose the stuff that Tammy's talking about on the show. And if you don't, you really are just going to be another ordinary expert in whatever your field is. And so it's really, you have to decide, I think, whether you want to be known as the authority or not. And I just would like your opinion on that. Long-winded ask.
Well, what I have found is, okay, here I'm a prime example.
Okay.
So in 2009, if you recall, 2007 to 2009 is when we had the big crash, and the housing market fell and everything. Well, that was when I decided to figure out my business, because I was teaching, but I was literally trying to make a full-time income on an adjunct salary, which really means I was a glorified graduate student without the tuition. That's how they pay you as an adjunct. So I was teaching maybe 6-7 classes a week at 3 different universities. So let's just say I was driving up and down the freeway. I was getting burned out and the money was not equating to anything. But the authority I got myself off track there. But it literally took me until 2016 to really figure out how to monetize everything that I was doing so that I would have a consistent income. And so 2009 to 2016, that's quite a number of years of riding the wave of up and down, up and down, up and down until, I had my epiphany when I got mad at God and said, I need an idea because I don't want to go to work, because I've been in middle management. But think about it. You're at this stage where you're getting older. All you can figure out is, well, you're probably going to get hired as a greeter at Walmart, which now they actually make more money than I did when I was a managing editor with 10 people under me. So, I think about that. But so think about it. If you have a mentor or someone you can talk to, and maybe they give you one idea that's going to cut 7 years off of the learning curve, that could be worth literally millions. And I wanted the book. I wrote a book in 2012 called Ask Tammy, 365 Ways to Social Media Tips, Tricks, and Tools. That book, and I'll bring Ron Laker back into this NCS, his video. That book, when he met me and he saw I had a book, he actually, of all the people, he had hundreds of people going to visit him. And out of all those hundreds of people, he actually invested in me because he goes, oh my God, you're the real deal. And over the years, he knows I'm the real deal now because I've known him now all these years. But that book is what helped him make a decision that maybe I was someone who knew what they were talking about. So that book, even though I probably only sold 50 copies of this book over the years, it's probably made me a couple $1 million. Because it was my credibility. It was my authority. It gave me that impact, that influence, and it helped to create income. And what I think is important for people to understand, when I talk about income, it might not be coming to you like, oh my God, I just made $100,000 from this one client. It might be, oh, I have $1,000 coming in from 5 clients, and I'm able to meet my monthly obligations. And then maybe you, as you grow and learn, obviously you get more creative, and maybe you end up creating a whole book program like I did, or a concept beyond the bestseller. As I learned, I took everything that I'd ever known, all of that education, all of that life experience, and again, mashed it all together and came up with something that was unique to me with Blue Ocean Authority. And now I like to talk to people because I also I start to visualize them into the future. And then I go, okay, there they are in the future. How do I help them get from where we are today to this place they want to be? Like, do they want to be on the stage? Do they want to be a best-selling author? Do they want to go get a patent on some product they've invented, or whatever it is that they're trying to do? So that's kind of how I operate. And then it's like, okay, now we make a plan, and here's the steps in the plan. I work with a financial advisor, and my advice to her was, well, let's put together a book, a little book, a lead magnet is what they're called, about your financial advice. And then you want to give it away and grow that email list that's a whole nother interview about how do you grow your email list? How do you talk to people? How do you start selling them things? There's so much that I've learned from, big time marketers and everything, that some of it I go, I'm not going to do that. And other ones are like, hey, that works. But again, I'm all about being me. And I think that is the most important thing about Blue Ocean Authority, is you just have to know who you are, because you're going to attract and you're going to repel. And a certain number of people will end up being your client and wanting what you are putting together. Like, I have people who want to be on TV. I have other people who might want to be have books. Some people want to be on podcasts. But again, I like to say, okay, well, let's do a little of all of this and see which one really works for you. But don't discount what you've already done, because it's all valuable.
Right.
Maybe you're a writer and you love to write blogs. Well, let's use them. Let's figure out how to use them. If you want to write books, we can write books, but don't be the next. Use what you have and build a solid foundation. I think that's really important. Everyone needs a foundation, and then you can grow. But again, if you work with a mentor or someone like me, I know all the mistakes I made between 2009 and 2016. Wouldn't it be great to go turn that into a couple months of a learning curve instead of 7 years? That's a long time to stumble.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
Yes, if they can learn from what your mistakes or your challenges, that's what I really do tell people. If these experts have spent many times 10 years or a lifetime learning this, and they can share it with you in a short period of time and get you up and going, isn't that worth that learning curve to you? And not only that, I even remember one time, Tammy, when I first met you, and you were at a conference when I called you in LA or somewhere, and you had just paid $15,000, just as an example, to be there. And and that was only one thing that she invested in to learn all this stuff. So I tell them, it's not just Tammy's time, for an example, but it's all the investment you put in financially too. And then also the time after learning it to keep refining it. That's priceless.
It's funny because I have a diploma. It's up on my wall. And I remember when I got the diploma for the master's degree, I remember calculating how much it cost me to get it. So then that was how I justified getting it framed so that I'd have the diploma in a frame with the tassel, because it was a very expensive journey, not to mention driving up and down the freeway, all of the things that we don't really realize, and the things I gave up to get the education, because I grew up again in the era where they were saying, oh, you have to have a bachelor's in order for us to give you middle management job. You have to have a master's in order to do this. You have to have a doctorate in order to do this. Now they say, forget all that. Just go do it. And, so again, I think that mentor, I see myself as a mentor to many people, because I can say, I've already done all this stuff. Here's a way to shave all of this off. And just like the Be on TV book, that's got real information in it. It's not just a bunch of baloney. It's like, if you read the book, you could probably go get yourself booked on TV without me. But of course, I can do it faster.
But you also have the connections as well. And that's another thing people don't. It's another show, because I know we're running out of time now. But we'll have you on again.
You can work really hard and spend a lot of time trying to get booked on podcasts, trying to get on TV, and it'll take weeks or months. And if somebody knows somebody, it could be a day. So again, how fast do you want this journey to happen? And I think everybody, you know, needs to look at that. And all of us need mentors and coaches and people who've already walked the walk that you're trying to walk, I guess is a good way to put it, because they
Yes.
can help you save literally years off of the journey.
Absolutely. Well, I agree with that. But it's so nice to have you on the show here with us. I know we're going to have to close down. So I want to thank you so much for being with us here today. Again, let's show your contact information. You can reach Tammy at Tamara, and her last name is Patzer @gmail.com. Her website is Tammy, Tami, and her last name Patzer.com. That's her website. Go check it out. Of course, get the free book. I mean, you don't want to miss out on this. Be on TV. So if it's something that you strive to do, that you want to do, you must get this this book. It is a flip book. You just go to mybook.link/flipbook/60B4 $DL=1, but make it easier on yourself and just hit our show notes, so that way you can just have the link that way. Of course, we love you guys. We want to thank you so much for being on here with us. This is the Link to Expert Business Showcase. I am one of your hosts, Cece Shatz, the doyen of relationship building. I have my good friend here, Joanne Weiland, with me. Joanne is the Chief Connections Officer and founder of the collaboration cloud community called LinktoEXPERT.com. So check that out. If you haven't heard of it, then you're not listening to our shows. So we want to spank you for that. So we want you to start listening, but check out LinktoEXPERT.com. A lot of great information on there. If you're in business, it's a place you want to be. So we want to thank you so much for listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the boldmedia.com, and we are on the home of newsstreamingnetwork.com. So thank you so much for being with us, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now, everyone. We love having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.